Will introduce myself. My name is Figo. My student number is 122111233 and 119. And I'm from the Graded Academic Presentation Class D. And for now, I will give some short informative presentation about Marxism, what is this, and comparison to communism, socialism, and capitalism. And then why I take this topic, because I take cultural studies in my English literature, and Marxism is one of the material that I studied in there. And next is, what is Marxism? Marxism is a social, political, and economic philosophy named by Karl Marx. His work examines the historical effect of capitalism on labor productivity and economic development, and argues that a worker revolution is needed to replacement capitalism with a communist system. Marxism posits that the struggle between the social classes, specifically between the bourgeoisie or capitalists or proletariat or worker, defines economic relation in capitalist economy and will lead inevitably to a communist revolution. For the next is understanding about Marxism. Marxian economists focus on criticism of capitalism detailed by Marx in his book The Capital, published in 1867. Generally, Marxism agrees that capitalism as a form of economic and social reproduction inherently flawed and will ultimately fail. For the next is capitalism. Capitalism is defined as a mode of production in which business owner or the capitalist own all of the means of the production, such as the factory, the tools and machinery, the raw materials, the final products, and the profit earned from their sales. And then for the next is workers or the labor are hired for the wage and have no ownership stage and no share in the profits. Moreover, the wages they pay to workers are lower than the economic value that their work creates for the capitalists. This is the source of capitalist profit, and it is at the root of inherent class struggle between the labor and capital. And then for the next is the Marxian economics. Like other classical economists, Karl Marx believed in a labor theory of value or LTV to explain the relative difference in market price. This theory stated that the value of the product can be measured objectively by the average of the number of hours of labor required to produce it. In other words, if a table takes twice as long to make as a chair, then the table should be considered twice as valuable. What must added to this theory was the conclusion that this labor value represents the exploitation of worker. Class conflict and the demise of capitalism. Marx's class theories portrays capitalism as one step in a historical progression of economic system that follow that another in a natural sequence. They are driven, he posed, by vast impersonal forces of history that play through the behavior and conflict among social classes. According to Marx, every society is defined as two social classes whose members have two more common in one another than with the members of other social classes. The following are some key elements of Marx's theories of how class conflict play out in a capitalist system. For the first is capitalist society made up of two classes, the bourgeois or business owner who control the means of the production and the proletariat or workers whose labor transform raw commodities into goods that have market value. And the second is ordinary laborers who do not own the means of production, such as factories, building, and materials, have little power in the capitalist economic system. Workers are also readily replaceable and in period of high unemployment for the developing their perceived worth. And then for the next is communism versus socialism versus capitalism. Marx and Engels' ideas lead to groundwork for the theory and practice communism, which advocates for a class system in which all property and wealth are commonly rather than privately owned. China, Cuba, Laos, North Korea, and Vietnam are the only nations that have communist system. Today, five notably, Most of these nations have relaxed some of their most rigid policies in the name of economic progress and the global trade. The Soviet Union or Union Soviet was an experiment in communism that was created in 1921 and collapsed in 1991, leaving behind 15 former Soviet socialist republics to rebuild their economies from scratch. None chose communism as a model. And then the socialism inspired communism by several decades. Its early adherents called for a more egalitarian distribution of wealth, solidarity among workers, better working conditions, and common ownership of the land and manufacturing equipment. And for the next is the capitalism. What communism and socialism oppose capitalism, an economic system characterized by private ownership and a system of law that protect the right to own transfer private property. And in capitalist economy, private individuals or the companies they create own the means of the production, the right to profit for them. And the communism and socialism aim to break the wrong capitalism free market system. This include worker exploitation, inequity, inequities between classes, and outright poverty. And was Karl Marx right? Not so far, because since the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the most successful of the few remaining communist countries, notably China and Vietnam, have removed some of their most rigid practice. None has been able to entirely eliminate personal property, money, and class system in the way that Karl Marx envisioned. And then for the last, is Marxism the same thing as communism? Marxism is a philosophy, while communism is a system of government based on Marxist principles. Marx envisioned a society in which workers owned the means of the production. In real world communism, government owned the means of the production. And then this is the reference while I make my PowerPoint. There are six, and and made by Chicago Authority, and then